we start by thinking about motivation. Generally, we're thinking about ourselves. When we think about ourselves, this is what we call self-cherishing. So when we're self-cherishing, we're thinking me, my happiness, my suffering. Me, my happiness, my suffering. Me. So this sense of me, always referring everything back to me, then actually increases the suffering, increases the problems. So now what we want to do at the beginning of every session, instead of thinking about me, I'm here for my happiness, my benefit, or my friend, my family. Instead of thinking like that, you change your motivation and you try to think in a different way. The hardest thing to do is to take the person who doesn't like you, who finds you irritating, difficult, the boss who criticizes you, you're the worst worker I've ever had in the world. Your partner loved you in the beginning and the relationship goes down and down. You're the worst cook. You don't clean properly. You don't clean the way my mother used to clean, or you don't cook the way my mother cooked, or the other way around. So all of these situations are very difficult to deal with, but when we start with any session, if you think about that really difficult person, that person is the most valuable person in your life. That person can teach you so much if you want to be taught something. That person can teach you to be more tolerant, more patient, more compassionate. If you take the situation in that way. But if you don't take the situation in that way, they're angry with you, they're upset with you, then you're more upset, you're more angry. And it just keeps going backwards and forwards. I'm angry, you're more angry. I abuse you, you abuse me. I insult you, you insult me. And it just goes on and on and on. So the situation increases. It gets worse and worse and worse. So we're here to learn how to stop this. Because we've decided that we want to change. Not that we're going to go out and change the world, tell the family how to be better. I hope you're not making notes so that you go home and then say to your partner, your boss or whoever, now listen, you have a problem. And I've learned what your problem is. And this is how you need to change. I hope you're not going to use it like that. All of this is for you to internalize and take it on and learn how to transform it. So the most difficult person to take at the beginning of the session is just thinking about the person who criticizes, judges you, angry with you, Maybe that person's too difficult. But maybe you have a mother, who goes, bah, 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 bah. Why do you wear clothes like that? And why have you got this ring in your nose? And styles have changed, things have changed. You get a tattoo, your mother completely freaks out. She thinks you're going to hell, going to join Hell's Angels because you've got a tattoo. So, sometimes there's even conflicts with your mother or your father. Not huge things. It doesn't have to be, massive fighting. But just, criticizing you. And then you can feel your anger, your ego coming up. You want to go back. You want to attack. So taking that person, the person that you can remember hurt you, even just somebody says, why are you wearing that top with those pants? You can think about it for days. I like that top with those pants, you know. And then you're thinking, why did they say something like that? It doesn't matter. It's just their judgment, just their projection. But we can carry these things on in our mind, and it goes on and on and on. You know? I often say it's like music, like the music in the elevator. You know, you go to a building and you get in the elevator and it's playing that music, and 2 weeks later you go back, it's playing the same music. Sometimes your mind is like that. It just goes on and on and on. That person who said something to you is not disturbing your mind. You're choosing to have a disturbed mind. It's your choice. If you have control over your mind. If you don't have control over your mind, no choice, right? It's music. It just goes on and on. Same thing goes round and round and round. And sometimes you feel like you're going completely crazy. You know, I just want to sleep, or I just want to rest, or I just want to look at the view, you know, relax and enjoy. So you want to drop that person who hurt you. You want to let them go. But because you can't control your mind, you can't drop them. You go to the side of the hill and you look out at the view and you relax for a few minutes, and that person comes into your mind again. The suffering comes back again. And each time you think about those words that the person said, the way they insulted you, the way they hurt you, whatever it is, every time you go back to it, it deepens the experience. It makes it stronger, heavier, deeper. So easier to respond with irritability, easier to get angry, because you're training yourself over and over and over. In everyday situations, you're training yourself to respond with irritability and anger. And yet if I say to you, do you want irritability and anger? I'm sure most people would say no. We don't want it. We don't want to live with it, right? Because it's painful. It hurts. And it hurts in the heart. So, just for a minute, think about that person who's hurt you. Not the extreme one, but just somebody who said something, or just a small hurt. Think about that person, and now think of them in a different way. Think, when they were saying something to me that hurt me, actually what they were doing is pointing out my ego. They found my ego. They found the lack of patience, the lack of tolerance, the lack of compassion. They found it. This is my teacher, right? This is my guru. You know, some people are looking for gurus. If you're from Australia, you're looking for kangaroos. But kangaroos or gurus, we're looking for something, aren't we? So, if you're looking for a kangaroo, or a guru, or a lama, or a teacher, or a mentor. Mentor is a popular thing these days, isn't it? A mentor, somebody who will guide you. You found it. This person who hurt you is that person. They're there in your life. Without them, you would not know you have intolerance, anger, hatred. You wouldn't know, right? You'd just be thinking, wow, I'm doing so well, so much love and compassion, life, it's so great, I love it. You know, just cruising along. But when this difficult person comes into your life, that's the time when your spiritual strength has to come up, when you have to be stronger. Not let go, not go down, but come up. So you have to bring your spiritual strength into the situation, using this person as your teacher. You think, this is incredible. I'm so fortunate that I found this difficult person. Thank you very much, the universe. I've been praying for a guru now the guru has appeared. We don't usually think like this, right? This difficult person is not the person that we usually say thank you very much to. It's usually the person we want to get rid of. I want you out of my life. Now we're welcoming them into our lives because we see a spiritual benefit. So at the beginning of each session, if you can just think of one person that you may have rejected in the past, you think, I don't want you in my life. You know, you're not good for me. In fact, we put the label, you're bad for me. Because you criticize me, you're bad for me. I want you out. And if they're in work, you know, somebody you work with, you start to manipulate. You start to do things, you know. You tell the boss, you know, that person's not very good. Their filing's terrible, or their computer skills not so good. And you keep saying things, hoping that person is going to leave. And what you're going to get is a much nicer person. Somebody who's going to stroke your ego and tell you how wonderful you are, how marvelous you are, how handsome or beautiful you are. You've got it all worked out, you know. This one's going, the next one who comes is going to be great. So this one goes, you know, you manage to get rid of this one. But creating a whole negative energy in the meantime, the next one comes worse. You know? Now you're in big trouble. Now this one really hates you for some reason. You don't know why. You say, good morning, welcome to the office or whatever. They don't like you. Instantly they take a hate to you. Often it's like this. We sort of exchange a minor enemy for an even worse enemy. Then you think, oh, this is terrible. Now I have to get rid of this one. Or you start thinking of changing jobs. Or you change partners. You know, we keep shifting situations. We keep moving things around, hoping to make ourselves totally happy. It's all about me. I want to be happy. Yeah? So I'm organizing the office for me to be happy. Or I'm organizing the relationship for me to be happy. I'm organizing, we could organize the monastery for me to be happy. But there's not just me, there's many others. And they also want to be happy. So it's an interesting exercise when you drop the me. You just let it go. Let go of the me and start thinking of others. Instead of relating everything to me, my happiness, just drop that and say to yourself, what about others? What can I do in order to make others happy? So then you start to look at others in a different way. You start to look at them in the way of what do you enjoy, what do you like. If you're in the cafe, you notice they take coffee with 2 sugars and a little bit of milk. So the next time you're in there, you say, would you like a cup of coffee? You like a little bit of milk, 2 sugars, isn't it? They say, how do you know? Because I'm interested in you, I know. Usually we're so interested in ourselves that we get exactly the right coffee, the milk on the side, the sugar like this, you know. I mean, Starbucks, absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it freaks me out if I go into Starbucks. Listening to these people and I want this with this and this and this and this. You know, we've gone from a cup of coffee to all this stuff. Now you have to be a barista, isn't it, to make coffee. So it's become complicated. And usually we're thinking about our own complicated lives, our own complicated selves. We're not usually looking at others Maybe we have a really good friend. Okay, maybe we look at that one. But what about generally looking at everybody? What can I do for all of you? Imagine that. Just looking at all of these people in this room and being concerned about them. That would be a shift of attitude. So we go from friend, family, outwards. We extend our concern out and out and out to more and more and more people, animals, insects. Then we include all beings. Because actually all beings want to be happy. Whether they're born into an animal body, whether they're born into a human body, it doesn't matter. You don't hear anybody saying, I really want to be unhappy. You know? Every day they pray, oh please, I really want to be unhappy. Give me the unhappiness. You know? This would be a real spiritual person. But all of us are thinking, I want to be more happy. More satisfaction, more of everything that I enjoy. More cafe lattes, more pizza, whatever it is. You have your likes, your desires. And so you're thinking, I want more of that. And then you've decided what you don't like. I don't want that, right? So we're very clear. We want certain things. We don't want other things. The things that we don't want, we spend a lot of time and energy making sure they don't come anywhere near us. You know, these things stay away. Whatever it is. Even the smallest thing, you know, like mosquitoes. Have you become friends with mosquitoes? I remember on my first course, Lama Zopa Rinpoche said, you're all big people, and mosquitoes are very small. You know mosquitoes? Yeah. And you're tired, you know. You go through this whole day, meditations and teachings, and you're tired. You go back to your room, and all you want to do is sleep, right? There's your projection. All I want to do is sleep. And I want a really good sleep. So I wake up when that woman comes around at 5:45, ringing that bell. I'm going to happily jump out of bed because I've had a really good sleep. And so you go to bed, you're just drifting off, and you hear boo, and you think, control your mind. Stay peaceful. This is a sentient being who wants to be happy. And then you can go completely berserk. So there's been people on courses who go completely berserk because of these mosquitoes. So it shows you how, given a little bit of pushing, we can go over the edge and we can overreact. We can become very extreme. And that extreme reaction doesn't make us happy. We go out of control. The enemy has appeared, the mosquito. Yeah? Well, it's not usually one, is it? It's usually several, many. And they want every part of your body. And you think, but why me? Why not her over there? You know? She's sleeping nicely, you know. So you get a piece of paper and try and get the mosquitoes to go over that way. Or you open the door and you try to get them out and you think, oh, that's it. I think I've got them all out. And you go back to bed and then boo. So it's this constant thing of working with these irritabilities. Because we made a projection. We decided something was going to be the way that we dreamt, that we made up in our minds. We decided. It's going to be like that. When I go to bed, it's going to be really nice, really peaceful. I'm going to go to sleep. But what about if you're in a dormitory, and the really nice guy or girl, whoever's in the dormitory, you've met them that day, really nice person, you really like them. Oh, I'm so fortunate I'm in the dormitory with this person. And they start to snore. And you can't stand any noise. You are used to complete peace and quiet. And you hear, and you think, oh no. So you poke them, prod them, try and turn them over. It's all relating back to me, isn't it? You think about it. It keeps coming back to me and me wanting happiness. Me not wanting to experience suffering. You're not thinking about the snoring person, I'm so happy you're asleep. And snoring really loudly, you must be sleeping very deeply. You're not rejoicing, you're not thinking, how great, how wonderful, I'm so happy. You're thinking, and what about me? How am I going to sleep? What am I going to do? Right? And that way of thinking increases the suffering. It's like turning up the heat, It increases the power of the suffering. I remember once I was in Varanasi, and then I went to Sarnath. It was in the monsoon. And I don't know if you've been to Sarnath, but Sarnath is very, very peaceful. Varanasi is crazy. So I like the crazy Varanasi. You go down to the water, and, all these Hindu gurus and giving teachings, and then people giving massage, and people going in the water, and chai, and there's all this sort of stuff going on. But it's got a spiritual basis to it. And then you get fed up with that busyness, and then you go out to Sarnath with the expectation it's going to be peaceful and quiet. It's going to be so nice. So I went out to Sarnath, and there was, I think, somebody having a wedding or something like this. And they had speakers in the town to share the joy of the wedding. And the noise was so loud, it was, I think, Bollywood, Nollywood, Bollywood, whatever, songs. Really, really loud. I mean, I thought, wow, this is unbelievable. Those metal speakers that vibrate and it's distorted, and it's not even good quality sound. But these speakers were all over Sarnath. And I was staying at the Chinese temple, which had open windows. So it didn't have glass in the windows. So all the noise was coming in. So I went to bed. I'm lying there, I'm thinking, no way I'm going to sleep in this. So I put the mattress on top of me. So I got the mattress and I put it on top of me. That didn't work. Then I pulled some stuffing out of the mattress and stuffed it in my ears. It was still really loud. So I managed to fall asleep after some time. The next day, I saw a girl who I knew from Kopam, and she was staying in the area. And I said, how do you stand it? Because she'd been staying there for weeks. And she was in a room right near these speakers. Like the speakers were there, her room was here. And she was doing retreat. I said, how do you stand it? Oh, she said, the first night I didn't. She said, I got so angry. And this is what we do, isn't it? You get so angry. So she said, like 3 o'clock in the morning, I can't stand this anymore. I'm going to do something about it. So she went out, she went to the speaker, and she started following the wire, So she's following the wire in the dark, out and out and out of town. So she goes out of town, then through the fields. She's still following the wire. So she through the fields. It's about 2 kilometers away. She said, by now, it's peace and quiet. Right? The noise is going on in the town, but wherever this noise is coming from, peace and quiet. This made her really determined. I'm going to find out what sort of people these are, who are doing this to us. We're the enemy, they're like the victims. I'm going to do something about these people. So she's following the wire. She gets to the house, and there's double doors, that are closed. So the wire goes under the door. So she builds up all her anger energy. She bursts open the doors, ready to abuse these people, really let loose on them. And there they all are on the floor, fast asleep. So there's about 20 people on the floor, fast asleep, and there's a tape recorder just going round and round and round. No noise at all, no music, nothing. So when she saw this, she just started laughing. And she was laughing and laughing, and she said it was so funny, having built up all this anger and resentment, and then seeing these people fast asleep. There's nothing going on. She imagined them all, dancing away, having a great time, while she's trying to sleep. Actually, they're sleeping. So she said she laughed about it. She went home. She went back to her room. She could sleep. And every night, when it was difficult to sleep, she'd just think about these people, fast asleep, the tape recorder going, let go. So if you can switch it, instead of building the story, we tend to build the story. These horrible people, they're torturing me, why is this happening to me? I came all the way from, overseas, I bought an airline. You can really go all night. I bought an airline ticket, it cost me so much money, I had to work so hard in order to get that money. I've given up my holidays in order to do this retreat. You can really go on and on and on in your mind until you've become the biggest victim in the world. And they're victimizing me. Once you're in that position, you've got to do something about the people who are victimizing you. Isn't it? Because you've put them in that position. They are doing this to you. So you now have to do something about them. Or you need to change your mind.